Hey guys, welcome back to Miss Education, a podcast about the issues in the New York City school system from those who know the system best, students. I'm Renika Jack, and we are back with the final installation of Unmuted. In this episode, our interns, Tinzin and Elsa, reported on students' experiences with applying for colleges during the pandemic. Enjoy!
It's justified to ask yourself, what's really the point of even going to college or paying for college if you're just going to do it in your room on a laptop?
I know a ton of people that are just like, this college process, I'm so done with it. You know, even with all the help, I don't want to do this, you know. And I've had those days too, because like it's such a different environment doing it from your home and pretty much having only you be the thing that says, get this done.
I was scared. I was completely scared. A lot of people will tell you they have no idea what they're doing when they're first applying to college. And I was like, it can't be that hard. It is that hard. And it's just like, how am I supposed to do this when I can't even see my counselor face to face?
It didn't feel like a normal year. It didn't feel like the support other seniors got. COVID really changed everything up, but I still feel like they could have done a lot better.
Those were high school seniors describing their college application process. I've always understood that the college process is really hard for most people. You have to fill out a bunch of paperwork, write essays, take the SAT or ACT, meet the deadlines for each college you're applying to, and so many other things that can be really stressful. But what does it look like to apply to college in the middle of a global pandemic? My name is Tenzin Job, and I'm a senior at Bard High School Early College Manhattan.
And my name is Elsabeth Franklin, and I'm a senior at the Institute for Collaborative Education in Manhattan. In the fall of 2020, when Tenzin and I were high school juniors, we sat down with a simple mission: explore the experiences of high school seniors who were starting their college processes during the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, almost 2 years into the pandemic, we're in the middle of our own college processes, trying to plan our futures during this unpredictable time.
Over the past 2 years, we've been able to see how the pandemic has magnified a number of issues in this city, country, and world. One issue that hits especially close to home is inequity in New York City's public school system, from exclusionary admissions to disparities in funding. We wanted to explore how the pandemic impacted the already inequitable college readiness opportunities for New York City public school students. Did students think that college was still worth it? Let's go back in time to fall 2020. The mayor has announced that schools may open for hybrid learning as long as the citywide positivity rate stays below 3%. About 1/3 of New York City students opt into this hybrid option. The rest remain in remote learning. Then in November, 2 months into the school year, COVID counts surge in the city, and school goes fully remote for the rest of the semester.
Unfortunately, as of today, on our 7-day rolling average for coronavirus positivity, New York City has hit exactly 3.0%. And as a result, we do need to close our schools for the coming days.
A huge aspect of the college process is interacting with teachers and asking for the resources that are present at school. But how did that work when seniors were not even in the school building? And as some high schools have more resources than others, what obstacles presented themselves to seniors with little to no assistance from their school? I decided to ask some students to find out their own feelings on the matter.
Oh, sister, it was difficult. It got to a point where I was not going to go to college no more.
On Friday, January 22nd, 2021, I logged on to an after-school college advising session at the Bronx School for Law, Government, and Justice run by 2 teachers, Ms. Schiff and Ms. Caligiuri. Besides the teachers, there were about 10 students there. When I entered, jokes were being cracked and the vibe was super chill.
He wants to hear
that is true.
It's true though. I
want it ASAP.
Yeah.
I want it ASAP and get rid of it.
Ms. Schiff briefly explained to everyone the project I was working on and asked me to introduce myself.
Hi, everyone.
I'm Elsa. I'm part of this podcasting program called the Miseducation Podcast. After I did so, I asked everyone to introduce themselves and say one thing they're looking forward to.
My name is Sadie, and I'm looking forward to go to sleep after this class.
My name is Adriana. Hi. I'm looking forward to eating.
Hi, my name is Calvin, and I'm kind of looking forward to getting any more college denials or acceptances.
As soon as I asked them to tell me about their college process, they quickly started to share.
Well, it's so hard now because of COVID.
This is Adriana.
You're not physically in school to have like teachers actually helping you. So it's basically you're doing it on your own. So like you have to be on the ball by yourself.
Another senior, Rodolfo, wanted to add on.
Me personally, if I was in person doing this in school, I would have applied to more schools. I wouldn't be as lazy as I am because right now I'm doing the bare minimum to get into the schools that I want to. But luckily, it's been going fine for me. I got 2 offers from schools that I wanted to go to. But definitely, if I was in person, maybe I would have tried to get out of my comfort zone and go to harder schools.
As students kept trickling into the Zoom, we started conversing more casually about the college process and became more comfortable with each other.
Oh, and it's really hard. Like honestly, it's so hard. You're gonna have meltdowns. You're gonna have breakdowns.
The black squares that had covered the screen began disappearing as Adriana and other students like Sadie, Acer, and Michael turned on their cameras. I asked them about a particular challenge.
If your parents don't know English or they just came to America, you know how hard it is to do the FAFSA?
FAFSA, for those of you who don't know, stands for the Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Students fill out this form to fill their eligibility for financial aid to help pay for college. Adriana chimed in.
Yo, translating is terrible. You're gonna hate it because your teacher's saying one thing and then your parents just looking at you like, what are they saying? And then you gotta be like, oh my God, they're saying this and this and that. And then your parent has like a little comeback after it. Oh, it's terrible.
But by far the most universal challenge, the isolation.
Coming into my senior year with COVID, it was really tough because I don't have help at home. So like you're like sitting in front of your laptop like, oh my God, how do I do this? And then you're like afraid to like hit up your teacher in the nighttime, like, because you don't know what time they're going to sleep. So like I'm up all night literally doing college things.
I asked the teachers, Ms. Schiff and Ms. Caligiuri, about their roles and how college counseling during these times have been. I got an unexpected answer.
That's actually kind of funny that you asked that because I am our school's librarian and Ms. Schiff is our school's theater teacher, and we both are co-teachers on this class.
That's right. The primary school support these students receive in the college process is from their teachers.
So we are both self-taught in the college application process. Literally, we use Ms. Caligiuri's librarian skills.
And then, yeah, and Ms. Schiff, like, she has taught this class as an elective for the past 4 years. So she is way more knowledgeable than I am. So there are times where I'll be like, oh, I don't know the answer to that. I'm going to have to ask Ms. Schiff. Hold on a second.
It isn't rare that teachers at schools like the Bronx School for Law, Government, and Justice, with a lack of resources, take on 2 roles in the school.
Like the kid said, I mean, and then it's like teachers who may not be answering about recommendation letters. It's kind of like when they have exhausted their contact, then we have to step in like, okay, we'll text them, we'll call them, we'll email them. And it can get really intense, even for us. You're like, oh, why is this website not working? Like things like that, you know?
And I'm really grateful that she is my co-teacher in all of this because this is really difficult work. It's impossible to do alone because every student has a different circumstance.
I asked them about what teaching over Zoom is like.
So that's really difficult. Ensuring that everyone is engaged on Zoom. You know, different Zoom policies, like understanding that not everyone is in a place both physically and mentally to show their face. But then how am I supposed to determine if they hear my explanation? That is extremely challenging.
Ms. Schiff and Ms. Caligiuri are working to fill a gap that is presented in many New York City high schools. There are about 500 public high schools in the city, and many of them lack the funding to hire enough college counselors to fill the need. This has been a problem long before there was a global pandemic. The problem of lack of quality college guidance, particularly at low-income schools, has motivated some creative solutions. One of them is an organization called College Access Research and Action, or CARA.
Our program focuses on students in schools that have a significant number of students who are low-income students of color, and generally the first in their families to attend college.
That was Paula, the director of the College Bridge at CARA. She runs the program. They place college students at the high school they graduated from, and they help high school seniors through the process. Sharifa is one of those college students.
My name is Sharif Rahim. I go to Hunter College, and I'm a College Bridge coach at Metropolitan Expeditionary Learning School, which is the high school that I graduated at. I'm also the intern for Paula.
I asked Sharifa and Paula about how the pandemic has affected the way the program runs and students within it.
There's some major differences in where students want to apply. In the past years, a lot of students have applied out of state or private and SUNY colleges, but now we see a lot of students who are just going to stay in the CUNY system just because of the uncertainty of like what comes next.
In the past, the college students working in the high schools would go into classes or talk to students in the hallway about moving forward with the process. But last year, high school seniors had to go out of their way to reach out for help by emailing someone, making an appointment, and planning a Zoom time around their changing schedules. I asked Paula about how she and the other coaches had to adjust to this new normal.
Working with coaches, some of whom are, from similar backgrounds of their students, I will notice, coaches who have to say, wait, hold on, I have to turn my camera off because I'm babysitting right now, or like there's a lot of people in the background, or like my Wi-Fi is not very good right now, so I can't really hear what you're saying. And so even noticing that with my coaches who are all incredibly dedicated, working incredibly hard, like seeing that with them, like you said, I can only imagine the challenge that the students are going through, especially if they're students who, don't have the same sureness that the coaches do about what they're doing.
In the midst of the pandemic, coaches' relationships with students have had to change.
And I think we've also really seen our coaches get so much more creative in the way they connect with students. I had one coach who said, oh yeah, I've been working with my students when we're playing video games together at night. We talk about college.
Paula, Sharifa, Ms. Schiff, Ms. Caligiuri, and their advisees could all attest that the pandemic made applying to college extra difficult. So perhaps it is no surprise that in 2020, there were fewer college applicants overall. CBS News reported that in 2020, the number of fee waiver students, which are mostly low-income students, who apply to college using the Common App, had gone down by 16%. Even as vaccines have been introduced and the early days of the pandemic are far behind us, that trend has continued. In January of this year, NPR reported that U.S. colleges and universities saw a drop of nearly 500,000 undergraduate students in the fall of 2021.
Do you love this podcast? Well, we've got just the thing for you. At patreon.com/bellvoices, we've got exclusive content never heard before. And if you're a student like me, sign up today for just $1 a month. That's at Patreon, patreon.com/bellvoices, or click the link in the show notes below. Now back to the episode.
Okay, so I am submitting my last college application for regular decision. I already submitted 2 applications for early action, and now I've been going through all of my regular decision applications, submitting them, and this one is my last one. and I'm doing the final review. The date is December 15, 2021. And I'm pressing submit in 3, 2, 1. Oh my god, yeah. My last one.
What?
My last college application.
So you have nothing else to do?
Mm-mm. So now it's just in the hands of the universe. Yep, that's right. In December, I submitted my last college application. So how was the college application process for us? Tenzin and I sat down the other day to discuss.
Yeah, so also, did you feel like the pandemic impacted your college process in any way?
Yes, it did. I just remember the moments where I was like crying and I didn't want to do it, and I was kind of second guessing if I even wanted to go to college.
Every single adult in your life was still like, oh, it's gonna be like okay, like, oh, you're gonna be fine, but like no one was giving you any genuine proof. That was terrifying. Ugh.
Yeah, and I think it was also hard for me to see other people that were going through this process that weren't as like fortunate as me or didn't have this kind of support that I had for the process, because I like had the help of my counselor, I had my mom's help, I had people in my family that were like really helping me through the process.
And I think like it was nice for colleges to say that they were going to like look over and understand the fact that kids had a rough time during the pandemic, but there was no like real push on proving it. Like even within schools administrations, like they brought one more guidance counselor. We have a therapy dog now that no one's seen. So it's upsetting. It's upsetting. And like it's still not over. I feel like kids are still reeling from like, it is still like an everyday thing where we're like, oh, we're seniors, we're not 10th graders, we're actually like, we're about to graduate, we missed the entirety of our junior year, we can't go back to get that, but nobody's like talking about it unless it's like oh haha, we lost a lot in 2 years. Like
yeah, I'm kind of now I'm hearing back from schools, I'm getting more excited because it's like kind of real that I'm gonna be somewhere. I'm excited for like choosing the kind of courses that I take. No more boring classes that I'm doing just to get like certain credits. Actually, I probably need to do a few of those in college, but it's not going to be nearly as much as high school. And yeah, just making new memories, I guess, with new people.
Yeah, I feel like that the new beginning is what I'm very much so here for.
Is college still worth it? We're still figuring that out. One thing we're sure of, the pandemic should be a lesson to people in power about the lack of support marginalized students in underfunded high schools get toward their future. Even though the work of CARA, Ms. Schiff, and Ms. Caligiuri is incredible, it shouldn't be needed because this assistance should be implemented in all schools. For now, we look forward to college where we'll be advocating for change. For the Miseducation podcast, I'm Tenzin Job.
And I'm Elsabeth Franklin.
To learn more about the issue of college access and the people working to address it, click on this episode page at bellvoices.org/podcast.
Tenzin and I reported and wrote the story with support from Joshua Sr., editing and production support from Mira Gordon, music from Lens Lewis, and Blue Dot Sessions.
Miseducation is a program of the Bell and is supported by the Pinkerton Foundation, the Summerfield Foundation, and FJC.
You can follow us on social media at Miseducation Pod and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Thanks for listening.